And welcome back. It's been about a month since I made a Texas housing market update for you guys. So I actually want to provide a new update for you guys because there's been drastic changes occurring in Texas. So I want to share what we're seeing right now at the statewide level, according to the Texas Association of Realtors. I'm also going to take a deep dive into Austin, Texas, Houston, as well as Dallas, Texas as well in today's video. And I've a lot to share in today's video, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So this is from the Texas Association of Realtors. They provide only a quarterly housing market update, and the most recent update they have is for the third quarter of 2022. So I'm very briefly going to share that update with you guys because it's only going over the third quarter. So it's really kind of like an old news per se, because I really want to share more timely updates. And that's why I'm going to be sharing the latest trends we're seeing right now in Austin, Texas, as well as Houston and Dallas. So the Texas Association of Realtors is reporting that the median sold price statewide is $345,000. That's up by 11.3% compared to the third quarter of 2021. Also, look at this. Active listings, which of course is housing inventory, is up by 61.4% compared to the third quarter of 2021. So there's far more houses listed for sale in Texas statewide compared to a year ago. But despite this giant increase of supply, closed home sales are down by almost 15% on a year-over-year basis. Also, the months supply of inventory is at 2.7 months. 1 year ago, it was 1.6 months. In other words, the months of inventory has increased approximately 70% over the past year. So that's a very brief overview about what we're seeing right now statewide for the third quarter of this year. But again, I want to provide you guys with some more timely updates regarding what we're seeing right now in the Texas housing market. Let's first talk about Austin, Texas, and I'm going to be talking about new listings, pending home sales, active listing inventory or housing supply, and of course, price reductions and home prices in today's video for Austin, Houston, and Dallas. I'll also provide some timestamps below as well in case you only want to hear about Houston, Texas, for example. Anyways, let's talk about Austin, Texas. And new listings compared to 1 year ago. So new listings in Austin, Texas are down by 22.5% compared to the same time period in 2021. And the most recent trends we have from Redfin, and this is, by the way, from the Redfin data center. It's a public website. So new listings down by 22.5% for the 4-week period ended November 13th, 2022. So new listings are down by 22.5%. Let's look at pending home sales, which is a measure of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers. So pending home sales in Austin, Texas are down by 55.77%. So almost down by almost 56% on a year-over-year basis. So this is obviously indicative of demand slowing down big time because they have a huge increase of housing supply and then a big decrease of pending home sales. That's telling me that home buying demand is slowing down big time. So pending's down by 55.77%. Let's have a look at housing inventory in Austin, Texas, which is right here. Housing inventory is, well above 2019 and well above 2021, which is the orange line right here. So active listings or housing supply is up by 65% on a year-over-year basis. It has been more or less flat for several months now, going back to really ever since August, let's just say, but still up big time, up by 65% on a year-over-year basis. There's approximately 11,340 houses for sale right now versus this time in 2019, about 8,300, and also in 2021, about 6,900. So active listings are up big time. And this is probably due to the fact that demand has been decreasing because we're seeing a huge decrease in pending home sales, and also we're seeing a decrease of new listings. So to me, this is pretty astonishing to see that new listings are down by 22.5%. Of course, that fills up our housing supply, right? Or actually, it decreases housing supply because we're not getting that big increase of new listings. I misspoke. So new listings are down by 22.5%. But despite this, decrease of new listings, we're seeing active listing inventory increase big time. Again, up by a 65% on a year-over-year basis. One thing I do want to mention is that when I look on the Association of Realtors for Austin, Texas, which is their Austin Board of Realtors. Have a look at this. And here's their most recent update, which is as of October. I'll make a separate video in about a month for November here. But according to the Austin Board of Realtors, take a look at this, because here's Austin and Round Rock, the metro area. And Round Rock, by the way, is approximately 30 to 40 minutes north of Austin, Texas. So this metro here, look at this. Active listings, according to them, which is their association of realtors, their local association of realtors, is up a whopping 180% on a year-over-year basis. So active listings are up by 180%, despite the fact that new listings are down by 13% and pending home sales are down by 40%. So huge change in their housing market in Austin, Texas. And by the way, the months of inventory here at the bottom right, the months of inventory is 3.2 months. 1 year ago, the month supply of inventory was sitting at 1 month of inventory. That's because the month supply has increased by 2.2 months, and the current levels right now are at 3.2 months. So the inventory was at 1 month 1 year ago. Now it's 3.2 months. I do want to mention this because the stats that their local association of realtors reporting, the biggest difference here is active listings up by 180%. Is obviously quite a bit different compared to what Redfin's reporting, because let me look at just October. So October active listings is up by 65% on a year-over-year basis, much less than what the local association is reporting, a gain of 180%. In any case, let's have a look at price reductions in Austin, Texas. So according to altosresearch.com, the share of price drops right now is sitting at a whopping 63% right now. So 6 out of every 10 houses listed for sale right now have already reduced their asking price here in Texas. At 63% in Austin, Texas, I should say. 1 year ago, the share of price reductions was 40%. 2020, it was 32%. And pre-COVID back in 2019, it was only 44%. So the share of price reductions right now is at least a 3-year high. One more thing I want to mention regarding price reductions in Austin, Texas at 63% right now. This is well above the national average at 43% right now. So on a national level, the share of price drops is at 43%. Austin, Texas at 63%. Let's also talk about home prices in Austin, Texas. And take a look at this, because the median sold price in Austin, Texas, according to Redfin, is only $470,000. I should say only a 1% increase on a year-over-year basis. So home prices have only increased by 1% on a year-over-year basis based on home prices actually have sold compared to 1 year ago, up by 1%, very close to getting into negative territory. But there's actually more that I want to share regarding this, because look at this. The median sold price right now, $470,000. Look at this, because on January 1st, the median sold price was $475,000. That means the year-to-date changes in the median sold price is actually negative. This is because the median sold price was $475,000 on January 1st. Now it's only $470,000. But wait, there's more, because home prices have decreased by 17.8% from the highs that we saw more or less in May and June of this year. And let me briefly explain this, because for the 4 weeks ended May 22nd, the median sold price in Austin, Texas was $572,000. Now it's only $470,000. So by my math, that's a decrease in the median sold price in Austin, Texas since May and June of this year, down by 17.8%. What's wild about this is have a look at this, because look at the differences in home prices during that same time period in 2019. Because again, down by 17.8% right now from really ever since really May and June of this year. Compare this to 2019, home prices were fairly flat. So $332,000 back in really April and May in 2019. At $332,000 was the median sold price. And then for the middle of November right here, $324,000. Therefore, home prices were more or less flat in 2019 during this time frame, whereas this year they're down by 17.8%. Let's also have a look at how fast or how slow houses are selling in Austin, Texas, and that's median days in the market. So days in the market right now is at 53 days. This means on average, houses are selling approximately 20 days slower right now compared to 1 year ago. Houses are selling about 20 days slower compared to 1 year ago. Also at 53 days right now, days on the market has more or less doubled since June, because for the 4 weeks ended June 3rd, days in the market was only 27 days, and now it's 53 days. Let's also have a look at the average sale price to list price ratio in Austin, Texas. And look at that, below 2019 as well as 2021. So on average, houses on average are selling for 3% below the asking price, which is much different compared to last year this time, because last year this time, houses on average were selling about 1% over the asking price. Also, this is much different than the spring months this year, because more or less in April this year, houses on average were selling for 6% over the seller's asking price. Now it's down by 3% below the asking price. Let's also have a look at the Houston housing market in today's video here. New listings, look at this, more or less on par with 2019 right now. New listings are down by 14.6% compared to 2021. So a decrease of new listings really ever since July this year. So new listings down by, 14.6%. Let's look at pending home sales in Houston, Texas. So pendings are also on par with 2019, but down by 44% compared to 1 year ago, down by 44% in the number of pending home sales in Houston, Texas. Let's look at housing inventory, because I'm guessing that the number of pending home sales is down big time. I'm guessing that active listings are up big time as well. And look at that. Yeah, up by 31% on a year-over-year basis. More or less flat ever since August of this year, but still up by 31.38%. Let's also look at price drops in Houston, Texas, according to altosresearch.com. Houston, Texas, the share of price reductions right now is at 48%. 1 year ago, the share was about 37%, 2020, about 40%. In 2019, the share was about 47%. So the share of price reductions right now, about 48%, is more or less a 3-year high. Let's also have a look at home prices in Houston, Texas as well to see what's going on there. And that is right here. So the median sold price in Houston, Texas is at $324,000. That's only a 5% gain on a year-over-year basis. Compare this to right here, which is more or less May. The median sold price was $353,000, and at that time, that was a 17% increase in their home prices. In other words, the median sold price in Houston, Texas has decreased by 8.2% from the highs we saw back in May and June of this year. Now again, just like Austin, Texas, this is vastly different compared to pre-COVID back in 2019, because look at this. Back in 2019 during this time frame, the median sold price in the middle of or the end of May was more or less $247,000. And fast forward to today, at this time in 2019, the median sold price was $242,000. Therefore, home prices were more or less flat in 2019 versus an 8% decrease this year. One thing I want to mention regarding home prices in Houston, Texas, which is different compared to Austin, is that home prices are still up compared to January 1st of this year. Because as of January 1st, the median sold price was $316,000, and now it's $324,000, which is obviously much different compared to Austin, because Austin home prices were at $470,000 right now, and on January 1st, they were $475,000. In other words, the median sold price in Austin, Texas has decreased by $5,000 since January 1st of this year. Let's also have a look at how fast or how slow houses are selling in Houston, Texas right now. So the median days in the market is at 30.7 days. So this means on average, houses are taking approximately 12 and a half days longer to sell compared to 2021. Because back in 2021, this time, days in the market was approximately 18 days. Let's also have a look at the average sale price to list price ratio in Houston, Texas. And look at that. The ratio is more or less 98%, meaning on average, houses are selling for approximately 2% below asking, which is much different compared to more or less the spring months this year, when houses on average were selling about 1% over. Okay, changing gears slightly, let's talk about Dallas, Texas, and what's going on there with the housing market. So new listings are down by 9.9% in Dallas, Texas right now compared to 1 year ago. So new listings are down about 10% on average. And also let's look at pending home sales in Dallas, Texas. That's right, they don't include the total number of pending home sales, but they do include this on Redfin's website right here. And these are listing updates, moving from a house that's being listed for sale to pending home sale status after they accept an offer from a home buyer. So the listing updates are actually down by 33.6% on a year-over-year basis. So they're seeing far fewer houses moving from being for sale until when they accept an offer for a home buyer. So down by 33.6% right now. Let's look at housing inventory in Dallas. And that's right here. Housing inventory in Dallas, Texas, let me just move this down a little bit, is at up by 53% on a year-over-year basis. And just like Austin, Texas and Houston, we're kind of seeing this plateauing effect regarding inventory levels over the past couple of months, but still up big time compared to last year, up by 53%. I'm guessing that the number of price reductions in Dallas has been shooting up as well because of all these metrics here. And yeah, look at this. So the share of price drops right now in Dallas, Texas is at 49.57% right now. This is much higher compared to 1 year ago when the share was approximately 39%. 2020, it was about 44.8%. And pre-COVID back in 2019, it was approximately 52%. That's actually really interesting. You don't really see this too often where the share of price reductions is actually lower right now compared to 2019. So this is kind of like one of these anomalies here because the share of price reductions right now is more or less 50%. But back in 2019, the share was approximately 52%. It's still far higher compared to 2021 and 2020, but more or less on par with 2019's levels. Let's have a look at how fast or how slow houses are selling in Dallas, Texas here. So the median days in the market right now is at 33 days. So houses on average are selling about 12 days slower compared to 2021 in Dallas, Texas, which is still well below 2019's levels because back in 2019 this time, it was taking approximately 51 days to sell a house. Now it's only 33 days. But still at 33 days right now, this is about twice as long as it took to sell a house back in more or less June and July of this year, because for the 4 weeks ended July 17th, days in the market was only 17 days, and now again it's at 33 days. Let's also have a look at the sale price to list price ratio in Dallas, Texas. Look at that, very close to 2019's levels. So houses are selling about 2% below the seller's asking price on average. Compare this to 1 year ago, the ratio was 101%, meaning on average, houses were selling for 1% over. And now they're selling for about 2% below. This is also much different compared to the spring months this year because in more or less May and April this year, houses were selling about 6% over the seller's asking price. And now they're selling for approximately 1% or 2% below. And with that said, please comment below your biggest takeaways from today's video. Also, if you guys got any value in this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.